James Plays Games.
That's me!
Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays Tony Hawk's Underground 2. This is it. This is the end of everything. We're getting the last of the gaps. We're seeing the final level. We're finishing off classic mode. We're doing it. We're done. So let's go jump on into the triangle. Now, this is the game's take on the Bermuda Triangle, or rather, the game's take on the legend of the Bermuda Triangle, where planes will go down, ships will disappear, never to be seen again, and the explanation the game gives is you can see these portals here, portals apparently being opened up by aliens for reasons. Don't know what those reasons are. But yeah, we got some wreckage around this little island. It's a fun, creative level. And it's small. And there's only 21 gaps. And that feels good. That feels really good. So let's go ahead and get those gaps started, shall we? We're just going to do a grind on the edge of a ramp here, and we're going to jump and land in a grind on the edge of a ledge. And we're getting crossing your rock fingers just repeatedly here, because it's just a grind gap between the ledges around the ramps and the ramps themselves. Coming on over here, and we have a triangle in this here triangle level. What happens if we grind it? There we go. You know, I was gonna make like a penis joke here, but felt like a very limp effort. Okay, moving on. We want to grind this ledge over here, travel around, and we want to get under this deck here, this platform, and land on this log. This is a log. It is not a beheaded snake, although it could be, but it's not. Now, the problem I have with this is sometimes I jump just a hair too late and I clip this deck here, and that will cause me to flutter just a little bit longer in the air and miss the grind there. Let's hope that does not happen here. Okay, perfect. We got ledge to log. Keep it going, and we get log to ledge. I'm going to slow things down because we are keeping this going. Taking that grind all the way over here to the wings of this downed plane, and we got winging it. Keep going. We got wing to rock hop. And we're still going, and from this grind here, we're grinding the edge of this boat for the lifeboat gap. Lots of gaps there. Oh yeah, you may have noticed, I changed a couple of my tricks here. So yeah. Just felt like it was time. Let me see if I can do... There we are, there's the Moonwalk 5-0, which I'm doing forwards. And then, of course, the worm is back. Gotta give it up for the worm. Nothing else too big in terms of changes. I added this move, the board snap. And yeah, here's another one of them triangles. We're gonna just grind. And what happens when that goes up? There we are. There is a connection made between the two, I don't know what you want to call them, nodes or whatever. I'm gonna try something. This is probably not the best way to do it, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, missed. I'll give it one more shot. There's gonna be another better opportunity in a moment. Yeah, okay, forget it. Moving on. We have the remnants of a ship here, and then a attack helicopter. And we just want to get kicked up off of this and land on the blades for kick to blade. There's some missiles on this plane, or helicopter. Grind them, and we get a destruction event for this level. Nothing too big. It opens up another area, and it blows up a little bit of the ramps. So keep that in mind. We're gonna do that in just a second, but First things first, I want to get kicked up and land in a grind on this helicopter's blades. Jump off, land in a grind for blade to ledge. Turn around, and we're just going to do the opposite this time and get ledge to blade. Okay. Now, let's go on into this area here and see what we can find, shall we? This apparently is where they conduct experiments, or it's the center of the... It's mission control for whatever they're doing. We got some test tube babies or something going on in there. One appears to have escaped. That's never good. You can even see its little footprints. Move on. I mean, this is kind of funny. I like the idea, like, they kidnapped the Star Wars kid and he's just freaking out and they do not know how to handle it. And then for something that's very not cool. Yeah. Anyway, we are going to grind this little middle area here and get kicked up to this conduit cable, whatever, to go into the core. And then we grind long enough and we get around the core. Okay, beautiful. There is the hole that we blew up in the ramp there, and we just want to do a big ramp-to-ramp transfer for wide chin gap. I do not think you can get that gap to register until you've blown a hole in this ramp. Gonna come over here, and we have just a little mini pipe on top of the pipe here, and we're just going to do a hip transfer off for mini hip. Then before we go much further, here is the final triangle. You can see their positions form a triangle, and then they all get connected up. Doesn't serve a purpose, except that you're creating those lines up there to grind on for that gap that we're about to get right now, because I forgot that I didn't get it. And please get on your board. Thank you. Alright. There we are. Power tap. So that takes care of that. Boom. Beautiful. Moving on, we're going back over to the... I don't know what you would call this, a wall of some sorts, and they are armed with cannons all across, and we have a few gaps that we're going to be doing here. I'm going to get up on here, and we're going to grind one side and then jump to the other side for wall crossing. Here we are going to grind this ledge, and it's going to curve around and aim us at this wall. And hopefully, maybe... No, I hit too high. We want to hit this lower ledge. There we are. So canyon jump we have now gotten. And now we're going to go do a ramp to ramp from low to high. And we missed it because I overshot, so I got off my board. But let's do high to low. That'll be easy. Now let's do low to high. There we go. Perfect. Gonna just get up into this little area here with the helipad landing. And we just want to gap over this channel here for the wee channel gap. Now we're just gonna build up a little bit of speed and air, do a big spine transfer, and get up here and do a lip on this ship for the mothership lip. Okay. Over on this side, you have another opportunity to do the low to high ramp to ramp. But, for whatever reason, when you try to do high to low, you will always bail. So, yeah, keep that in mind if you're playing at home. There's There's the ramp-to-ramps on either side of Area 52. How about that? Only one side will work for you. Only one side cooperates. Here's the remnants of a pirate ship, complete with pirate. And we want to do a lip trick on the mast over here, for pirate ship lip. Come on over this way, and there's a little bowl in here. And there's treasure inside that we can't get. But there will be treasure that we can get a little later. For now, we're just doing a spine transfer out of the ship into this bit of wreckage here for man overboard, and we're done! All gaps complete, and we have unlocked the most important characters of all, the Boxer, who... I have no recollection of there being any Boxer characters in any of the levels. A flute player, guitar player, the lounge singer, you know which one if you watch the Pro Skater level. Yeah, so we just get a bunch of extra NPC characters to use if we so choose, but I'm going to stick with my main man here as we go on into classic mode. So aside from asking us for a whopping 3 million points for a score goal, and the combo line being a little bit on the long side, this level is pretty much in line with everything else. The Tony Hawk games, especially for the classic style, never really did the big, bad final challenge that was going to kick your ass. So we just get to skate around and have fun like we always do. We have the combo line in front of us here to start, but before we do that, let's build up some points, because we are going to need them. So we are just going to throw some 900s out here, and I'm getting off my board so I can conserve my manual balance. And then maybe get some lip tricks in here just to build up that combo multiplier. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now we'll get on the line. And we just gotta follow it. It's pretty straightforward until the B, which we're going to get here. I'm going to slow things down, because that helps a lot. We go up into the air and get the B, and now we're going to just go along this wall here. Ignore this treasure chest. We're not going for treasure chests. Then over here is the O. And the O kind of sucks. It's very low on this spine transfer. And that should be more than enough. Okay. Yeah, so that O is really low on the spine transfer. It's very easy to get way too much height and just completely miss it. It gets very frustrating, so that's why I like to be off my board and then just get that little running start and then just do a spine transfer, and that seems to be the perfect amount of speed and height to nail it. After our little combo line, we're right over here by our next triangle. I'm stuck in the air. That was weird. That's fine. We got plenty of time for shenanigans like that. Just skate along the beach and get to the third triangle. Now, the last thing we're going to get is the secret tape, which is up there in the sky above the nose of this airliner. And we just want to do a spine transfer up and over. Sometimes you bail on the edge there, so I like to get off my board. Then finally, we just launch up, get off our board, grab onto this little edge here, and jump, and we get the secret tape. So that is all good. That's our first run done. Now we just got to worry about getting the stat points, most of which you might have seen as I skated around the level. Get the skate letters, and get those treasure chests, and lip the mothership. So this time we're going to turn right around, and right over here on this little raised area, if I can get up here. There we go. First treasure chest, and then across the wings of this plane, We can get the S right in there. Come over here, and our first stat point is just right above the tail of the plane, which you can smash up a little bit for funsies. Coming on over here, and by the lifeboat is the second treasure chest, and on the lifeboat is the K. In front of us and above is another stat point, so we just want to get some air off of this ramp. Now we're coming over here, we're launching up, getting off our board. There's a treasure chest right there. Now we'll go back over this way, onto this wall, and we will get the treasure chest that we got before that I said just ignore it. Here's the A. We're just going to go up and spine transfer to the helipad. Go up a little bit higher, and we'll snag a stat point over here. Now we are going to get our air with a big spine transfer, pop up, and hit the mothership lip. Continue along, and over here we have a treasure chest just hanging out there. We have the E by the mast of the ship, and then we just have to grind the end of the ship here and jump off to get that stat point. Turn back around, and let's point this out. There's a stat point in here. You can actually get in here and grab it that way, but it floats up and down, which means you can actually get it just by getting above it. If you were to go in here, you could just jump right up and it takes you here anyway. And finally, little ramp to ramp to get the T, and that's all she wrote, I guess is what I'm gonna say there. We're done! We done did it. We did everything. All classic gold. All stat points, all gaps, all story mode, everything done on SIG difficulty. We've obliterated this game to the best of my ability. We even did a little extra challenge at times with doing all the goals in a single run for some of the levels. Some seemed a little too hard. Maybe they were just a little too hard for me. Maybe they actually were impossible. I don't know. But I think the handful that I managed to do, I feel pretty good about. And also got pretty stressed over, but that's my problem. Here we go. We did every goal. So we unlocked a bunch of NPCs here. And for completing classic mode on sick difficulty, we've also unlocked these characters. We got Jesse James finally. Thank God. Not as Copus, Bigfoot, the Imp. The Imp. Just like the Lounge Singer. And another Space Monkey. Hooray. But we also get a couple of videos. More bales. Everybody loves seeing people get hurt in horrible, horrible ways, right? Thankfully, this isn't too terrible, with maybe just a couple of nasty gashes here and there. Well, that didn't look good. And yeah, it wasn't. But for the most part, you know, if that skateboard got run over. Better the skateboard than the person. I'll tell you that much. Not that I know from experience. I've never done the skateboarding, and I've never got run over by a car. But I'm guessing you don't want to get run over by a car. I'm like 98% sure. Dog! Thank God the dog was safe. If that dude, like, nailed that dog... Oof. There would have been some angry letters. That dude lost his shoe and his nuts. That guy's dead.
Holy calamity, scream insanity! Are you ever gonna
but here is the Neversoft crew getting their skate on, having some fun. It's funny to think about how when they started working on the Tony Hawk games, they didn't know anything about skateboarding. But they went all in, and they learned, they fell, they got really involved in skateboarding. And that's kind of cool, that they just like went all in. They found that passion. And just seeing like where they are now, like seeing them doing like cool stuff, actual tricks and everything, when, once upon a time they were having a contest to see who could land a kickflip first. That's pretty cool. Now, this last video, I'm pretty sure is available just right from the start of the game, and I either didn't remember it existed or never knew about it in the first place. But either way, had I checked this out for this playthrough, I would not have been surprised that Skatopia was real.
Skatopia.
Because here's a whole video about it. And that's just the way it is. For all the work that I put into these playthroughs, all the research, all the practice, all the editing, just all the whatever goes into it, there's still going to be things I miss. And that's where you guys come in, to help fill in the cracks. You just slip right in there into my crack and you just fill me up. So I appreciate that. I really do. It can be a little rough sometimes, I can feel a little inadequate, but that's why these are typically called Let's Plays. Let us play. We all have a part. We all have a role. So, yeah, once again, thank you, Tombot, for cluing me into what should have been obvious from the start.
Skatopia would like to thank all those who've supported us over the last 10 years, especially the CIA, our friends, and our sponsors. Come skate. It's not a game.
I figure it's only fitting that we close out with the credits from Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. It adds in credits for Shaba Games, who did the port, and they did a really good job. There's a couple of little things that are iffy, like Vegas in general, but the other levels that were added and just the port in general was really solid and just felt good to play. So yeah, want to give them their credits where credit is due. And after that, it scrolls on to the Neversoft team and the rest of the credits from the console versions of the game. And then after that, it does it again. The credits that I showed at the end of story mode? That exact sequence will run after these credits. So you're getting the credits, and then you're getting the credits again. That's kind of weird. So I'm not going to show that part. I'll cut that out, which cuts out like 5 minutes of credits. But yeah, we can talk about classic mode here. I complained about story mode not having a whole lot of skateboarding to do. Not really having much of an opportunity to challenge yourself or show off skills or really do much that you're familiar with doing with the previous games. They saved all of that for classic mode. And they went all in on making that feel like a full, robust game all in itself. Not just a little extra side mode to their World Destruction Tour game. No, it's the whole shebang there. Tons of levels, tons of goals, lots of stuff that's new, even if you're familiar with the returning levels. The fact that they have returning levels, I mean, they just did a huge effort in making that really, really fun. And if you're one of those people who kind of trailed off after the first 3 games and you didn't really like the transition to the bigger open design and, well, this game, there's a lot of people that were put off by the presentation of this game. There's still something here for you. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I don't really think they kept that train going. American Wasteland has a classic mode, but they kind of blew it all on the classic mode for this game. So they had fewer levels to choose from. The game world itself of American Wasteland, the supposed quote-unquote open world, did not lend itself to making levels out of that for classic mode, so it's all just returning levels, but only some of them. I think it's... I could be wrong on this. This is where you guys come in, fill in my crack in. 9 levels? And that's talking about the collector's edition, which adds in Marseille. I think just that, maybe one other level. Oh, Atlanta, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, very small in contrast to this. I'm sure it's still fun, but it's not the same, all-in experience that it is here. But maybe that's something to talk about in more detail another time, if I decide to play American Wasteland, which I'm still on the fence about. Yeah, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. Love ya. Mwah. And I'll see you next time. I can't end it like that. Let's get one more challenge in there.